instead of like trying to make friends, focus on
The
your
majority of the dislike towards myself
I think school life is a really funny topic to talk about.
is probably from like...
Welcome to the second episode of the 15-year-old pod, and today's episode is for anyone who feels like they are just not winning at school. So our guest here is Yanping. So he used to be a bit, well, to put it nicer, not the most popular guy, maybe a little bit hated, but now he's leveling up. Okay, so why don't you share a bit more about yourself and why you think that, like, what are you experiencing in school previously during your worst period of time?
Well, I mean, like... So the majority of the dislike towards myself is probably from like a certain incident that happened in Sec 1, which I might go into detail later on.
Alright.
But so, like, with that incident, like, the hate started circulating. I suspect mostly out of fear, cause like people might think like, oh, he's gonna like come for me next or something. So yeah, I think that's why like I had a bit of trouble like gaining friends. And like even so, like in my class I did have like a friend group, but like for a lot of like friend group related activities, they would like leave me out. So, and most of the time this would be like during the holidays. So like I would be like chilling at home doing my like daily stuff, and like I would see like an update on like one of my friends' statuses, like the whole group is there, like they're like having fun outside, cycling, or just like playing volleyball on the beach or something like that. And I would be like, what? I didn't get invited to that. And then I would ask, and they would pretend like, yo, what are you talking about, bro? Like no one went out or anything. So
Yeah, I mean, personally, from my experience, I don't really relate this as much. I mean, right, I think school life is a really funny topic to talk about. Like, you see, some people, it seems like they have no reason to get hated, but they will just get hated. It's as if our society now has reached a point where once someone popular says something, everyone below will follow, and then it will go on. So like, for example, if a really popular kid in school says that, oh, I like this, okay, let's say he has a crush on this girl, right? The whole friend group will think much more highly of this girl than she originally is. And people that have slightly less friends or are slightly less popular, they might not even dare to fight back against, the popular kid. It feels like, it's almost as if, and then if we go back to like Sec 1 days, right? Like at the start of Sec 1, do you feel like you have quite a lot of friends at the start of Sec 1?
I mean, I came into like Nanhua with like hopefully like getting more friends than I did in primary school, because in primary school I wasn't the most like well liked either. So like I came into Nanhua with like a new start, but
Yeah, to give you a rough perspective, right? I've known Yanping for like 3 years already, since the very start of Sec 1.
Yes.
And he has been one of my friends consistently for 3 years, which is kind of rare to have a friend for 3 years since Nanhua. So, I mean, at the start, we could say that, okay, so I think the first topic I want to talk about is to, let's say, like being weird in terms of school, like making maybe less appropriate jokes or like things. Like, what are your thoughts about this? Do you think this is the main reason you got hated on for?
Well, I mean, I would say it is a contributor to all like the hate, because I mean, like, it's also like sometimes it's about the content of the jokes and sometimes it's about the timing. So like I remember in Sec 1, like, like I would just be like in the middle of like any lesson, like PE, math, English, all that stuff. Like during any lesson, like for some reason I just like blurt out a joke for no reason. Like even if it has like most of the time it doesn't even have anything to do with like the subject or anything. Because like if you crack like a math joke during math class to help people understand the topic more, then I guess that's fine. But like, like if you crack like an English joke during like science class or anything, that's kind of it's not very like productive. It doesn't help anyone with anything. And B, it's more of like distracting, because like you'll like break people's like train of thought and stuff. So
yeah, so I mean that people might just think that you're being annoying for sometimes making these jokes.
Yes.
And I think that in school life, right, it's really okay, so like everyone's school life will differ, but based on my past experience, it's always like people who have a lot of friends in Sec 1 tend to have a lot of friends all the way till Sec 4. Yeah, but then at the same time, right, there are people that might be hated since Sec 1 and Sec 2, but they might have a turning point. Well, I feel like for everyone to not get hated, the base or the principle number one as someone that I think I'm considered to be popular in school, I was supposed to, is that I only need one solid friend group that will always forever stick with me. Let's say if I did anything wrong outside, insulted any popular person in school, I'll have this friend group behind supporting me. It gives me like a base. Like, although it's very saddening to say that school is like a lot of fighting in between, especially in the most core friend group. Like, they are always like, oh, I'm friend with this popular person, and it's like they worship one person, and it makes the whole situation more complicated. So, you know, sometimes it's kind of nice to have to not be part of that core center friend group. I'm trying not to be included as much as I am right now also. So the question would be, what did a normal school day look like when you felt like your worst and most hated? So like, you go to school, any incidents that you happen that might make you affected for a prolonged period of time?
I mean, for like a positive person like me who like doesn't really take offense to a lot of things, I might just like get angry, but I won't be like really affected by it. Like, so basically, like in that, like, which was mostly around like the sec 2, like end of sec 1 to like maybe middle of sec 2, like that was like the time period where I felt the most like bad. And then like, yeah, I had like just like one or two close friends maybe, cause like, I mean, everyone else doesn't really like me a lot lah, so that's kind of expected. And then like, so I would like go to school, you know, do like normal school stuff. And then like even during recess, right, like you know, in sec 1 we were playing like catching and stuff like that, correct? Then like, yeah, I would kind of like get excluded at times. So I mean, it's a bit sad and all, but hey, I mean, I respect other people's opinions. So if they don't want me to join, if they're happy with it, then okay. But so like, I mean, I didn't have like a lot of people to turn to lah when I have like issues or anything, like maybe with homework or with like other people maybe. So like, I feel like if you're ever in this scenario, you wanna try, and by that I mean like absolutely try your best to at least get one like close friend that you can like share your stuff with. Because like in my experience, right, like if you bottle everything up, like if you keep pouring water into a jar, at some point the jar's gonna overflow and like everything's gonna come spilling out like that.
Yeah,
so
that's a great analogy. And by means finding a great friend is that, you know, okay, this might sound biased or not accurate, but in my experience personally, right, it feels as if, right, a lot of people are bonding over the fact that they hate for one person. It's like, if you go to like those friends who don't have much experience together, a lot of their talking topic is just about, oh, I don't like this guy, and they just talk about this one guy, shit out him for like 3 hours straight, and they both feel great, like they both feel like closer together. But in reality, this type of relationships can break up. I mean, personally, I've experienced like this before. Not personally, but like towards other people. Like if you shit talk one person, but then you think that, okay, let's say I shit talk B with A, right? But then if one day A did something wrong, our relationship can just like become like shit in like 1 second. It's like it's not gonna sustain long. It's gonna be like the bond is not very close. So as we said, being excluded in things, I think that the one-stop solution to solve this, right? If you're a person going into a new environment, yes, try to be as normal as possible, trying to be outgoing, and then trying to talk to as many people as possible. Be a nice guy, don't insult anyone, and don't hate anyone at the start for that 1 or 2 friends. You want to try and be mutual with everyone at the start to let your foundation like be solid. And you know, people might say that, like, let's say for example, right, you are going to sec 3 and your sec 2 friends are, okay, maybe different analogy, you're going to sec 1 and you say that, oh, I want my P6 friends to be my closest friends still, so you're like thinking that you still got a P6 friends there and ignoring your current class friends. But you need to understand that the thing is, right, I feel like the class is really such a strong spirit. Whatever strong bond, right, it can still be a very strong bond, but in a new class, you'll always need to form a new friend group. You can't just not care about making new friends because you already have a close friend group previously. So it's like, you must always have a really, really close friend group, but in new environments, to adapt, to survive. I'm making this sound like a survival thing, but to be honest, school life is kind of deep now, and this year, yeah. And then, one tip I will give everyone is that you don't try to, okay, like, you know, I make videos, right? And it's kind of hard to please everyone for everything.
Yeah.
Like, you're trying to take the spotlight, they will hate you. You don't take the spotlight, they will ignore you. So it's very hard to find the middle point, the middle ground, but I feel like a mix of both with a close friend group in the base is what really sets you up a foundation for an enjoyable school life instead of being excluded and being left out. Okay, so next question for you. Do you try to fix things or just survive in school? You get what I mean, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I did try to fix things, and I still am, because, you know, like, I mean, in Sec 1, maybe for some reason, maybe I thought it was like cool to, you know, like walk around with like everyone like pointing at me. I don't know, like, but now I realize like the consequences, like the repercussions of what I did in Sec 1. Like now I'm not really having anyone to turn to, and like mainly, like since now, right, like in class, I don't really have any of my close friends that I had in Sec 2. So now in class, I'm having to like rebuild like new things completely from scratch. I have to redo everything from scratch because there's no like current bonds that I can make use of. And with people that are already know like what I've done in Sec 1 that may still have some like lasting impressions from that time, it is a bit hard to like rebuild up some sort of stuff, especially if they're like, because news travels like quite fast, right? Like if like one person says, oh wait, this guy kind of sucks, and it will spread like wildfire. Like, so like, yeah, example, if Ela like says like, yo, like Yanping kind of sucks, and then like next week I go to school, everyone's gonna be saying I kind of suck.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the thing is now, right?
Yeah.
You choose to the way you choose to speak and who to speak to is really something you have to be wise about. The way you choose your friends, like you need to choose your friends that feels right. If anything feels wrong, right, very sad to break it to you, but the friendship might not last long. I mean, it could, but personal experience-wise, what I've made, all my friends I have, all my network I have, all the people I've met, is that if the first impression doesn't really feel right, something's off. So, as he said, he can't really try to fix things, and I kind of understand his state. Well, not really, because I didn't really go through this kind of experience before, but for any one of you who are in that state right now, right, my go-to advice would be to get yourself good first. Instead of like trying to make friends, focus on yourself first. For example, I have one friend in school that's relatively smelly. He doesn't really shower much. He don't apply like deodorant and stuff. Like, not to be mean, right? But then he lost quite a lot of friends because of this smell. I mean, yeah, so for someone like him, maybe his first thing is to change all his error and slowly try and fit back in. Because if you're in a state where you're excluded and you're trying to fit back in immediately, it's not going to succeed 99% of the time. So it's to fix yourself first and slowly get back in. So when you try to fix things, right, for example, when you're trying to fit in, get included in things, how did people treat you?
Well, I mean, like, most of the time, like, you know, I have a few like acquaintances. I wouldn't say they are friends in my class, because, you know, I still kind of get like excluded sometimes. But like, they're acquaintances, like they're like people that I can sort of deal with, like they like sort of accept me, right? But sometimes, like even currently still, like sometimes I will like talk to them. It will be like it's just talking to a wall, because like they'll carry on with their own conversation and I like wouldn't even be heard, or maybe I was heard, and they just decide, you know what, this guy ain't important to listen to, I'm just gonna ignore him and continue with our own conversation.
I mean, this thing is really one thing. You normally get ignored when you have not. Okay, I've had multiple conversations with friends about this before, and I feel like personally, if you go and observe all those popular kids, they all either shine in one thing. The most common one is basically looks. They might look good. For girls, they might look amazing. For boys, they may be smart in studies. Well, not really smart in studies, they might be good at sports, good at basketball, and yeah, of course, looks matter for boys also. But then, so I feel like it's always nice to have one thing that you really shine in. Like, for example, me personally, I do content creation, and my friends all have heard about it or seen it somewhere, and they will respect me for it lah. I mean, if they say anything behind my back, I won't really know, cause I have quite a solid base of friends. So it's almost as if like you need to find one thing that you are really good at, one thing that you know people respect you for, and just keep doing it non-stop until people respect it and they kind of understand it and respect you for it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And you need to find a really, really good friend that will not judge you for who you are, and just stick with him until long enough until you are slowly graduate settled into a friend group. And don't force things out. One of my good advice is don't force things. Like friend groups may change. I've changed like 2 or 3 friend groups this whole secondary school journey, and just don't force things. That's my advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think your situation has ever changed since Sec 2 to now?
Since Sec 2 and now? Well, I mean, of course, because I would like to think I am slightly, maybe I'm like not even that hater anymore. It's just like the last thing, like impressions from Sec 1 that people still are a bit wary of me. But I mean, it might be because like they don't really like know me, or like they don't know what kind of person that I am. They just saw what I did in Sec 1. So that might be why I still don't have that many friends. But I think it's definitely been an like improvement from maybe Sec 2 or Sec 1, where I had like one friend and one friend only. I now have like maybe 2 or 3. So I guess any increase is always good. So I guess that's
So this episode is more of a casual conversation about making friends in school and how to navigate school not getting hated. So like if you're like observed or picked up some things he said that he has done, maybe you try to avoid it lah. Like one thing I picked up is not to crack random jokes out of nowhere, which may seem as annoying. One personal thing is that maybe if you keep trying to feel included and it's self-inviting to every party, like one of my friends who keep self-inviting to other people's parties or like
that's a good point. Self-inviting, I've seen it is not very good, because like if they don't invite you, that clearly means they don't want you to be there, because if they wanted you to be there, they invite you. And so self-inviting, it kind of feels, it isn't really good, because self-inviting is just like a nice way of saying gate crashing, because
Yeah, and I would say that as I've mentioned countless times just now, the best way to get more friends is not to trying to talk to other people. I have like multiple juniors that are like always texting seniors. Like if you are watching this, like texting seniors, annoying seniors every day in day out, and trying to get attention as much as possible, filming us out of nowhere. Like I've gotten multiple juniors film me without me knowing, posting on social media, and it's kind of annoying, to be honest. That's not how you make friends. The only way to make friends is to make yourself make yourself better than you were yesterday. Every day, improve a bit, get something you're really good at. For example, for me in my case, I have content creation, one of my really strong points. I have fitness, I have my arm wrestling stuff in school, and these are all things that people know me for, and they won't have a bad impression because I'm really good at it, and they know that I have, for example, fitness. They know that I have a whole ass community outside of school, so I'll say relatively more respected. And you don't want to be annoying, you don't want to be perceived as annoying. You might as well be lonely for like 2 months and slowly get accepted than trying to be very eager to get into friend groups for like 6 months. It's not really helpful at all.
Yeah, I would like to add on to what Yula has said, because like I can't really speak from a personal point of view, but in my opinion, right, I agree, like you should, like, if you don't have a lot of friends, right, you should work on like developing yourself and making yourself better before joining another group. Because like if you keep your same flaws, the very reasons other people don't like you, or they find you like they're uncomfortable with you, then if you try and go back in there, it kind of feels like kind of desperate, like dang desperate, like yo, I need friends, please be my friend, this kind of like stuff. So work on yourself first, and then you can implement yourself. You can put yourself in maybe another friend group easier, rather than just trying to like, I don't know, force yourself in. Cause
Yeah. So, and I think now like we've sorted out the basic things, we need to really get into one thing, that how to stop caring about what other people really think about. Cause to be honest, even at my stage, right, with quite a lot of friends, quite a lot of visibility and recognition, I still, when my friends are like, some of my people are really cold to me or really annoying to me, I will still get caught in my mind. And self-validation, or like validation from other people is still quite a serious problem I kind of face sometimes. So, as you have said previously, you don't really care that much. What are some mindset things that you go through and people think badly of you? When you hear like people shit talking you behind your back or even in front of you, what are some thought processes to stop caring about what they think?
I mean, the main thing is you gotta keep telling yourself like what they say, what comes out their mouth. Their mouth is on them. Like, I'm not God. I cannot like control what they say. I cannot. All I can do is really choose how their like actions or words like affect me. Like if like someone shit talks about you, it's okay, cause you know they're one person out of like 7.2 billion, 7.3 billion people in like
I think it's more now, but yeah, fair enough. We get a point. It's just them. And then I've actually made a reel before. I think it's about what? Oh yeah, it's about healthy people will always cheer your first workout. Rich people will support your ideas. Maybe like positive people will bring you up. So it's like what people say is basically a lot of times a reflection of themselves. So if they are shit talking you, they are probably not going through as much as good as you think they are. So one thing that I want all of you to remember is basically that there's no one living ever as good as you think they are. Like you think that, oh, this person is living so nice, so much friends, she looks so good, she's so pretty, you know, she has such a good physique, she has so much friends, she's so rich, her whole family is like rich as hell, and she got everything in life. Nah, she's not having a life nearly as good as you think she is or he is. So one thing to bear in mind is what they do and what they say is a reflection of themselves often, and no one is ever living as good as you think they are. And then, you know, previously when people judge me behind my back, right, I would think that I'm doing something they can't do. I'm doing something they can't do. For example, content creation. I'm getting judged sometimes, not now anymore, but I used to when I first started. It's like, I'm doing this, can they do it? If they can't do it, they're most likely just saying, cause people tend to be jealous of people who are ahead of them. Like even I get jealous of people who are ahead of me sometimes, and it takes me a while to not get jealous. For example, this morning I was interviewing a bodybuilder, and I kind of got jealous of his physique for like a while, and it took me like 2 hours to slowly get out of it and accept that he's great and I'm great in my own ways. Everyone is special in a unique place, and kind of accepting that it's great to have people like him and I can learn from him instead of trying to compete with him. So it's like, this kind of thing is easy to say, but trying not to get jealous and stop caring about what other things is easy. But through this, when you're feeding your mind that, you know, it's just them, you know, they're not living as good as you think they are, you can learn from them, you're friends, you still have your own good things, it's not gonna have effect the first time you think about it, but maybe throughout time, slowly, you will slowly get better and better to a point where you're like, oh, and journaling really helps. Write it down, what you're really affected by, and think about this. Will you swap everything you have right now for what they have? Probably not. It's like, okay, sure, they might have a good face, okay, they might have a good physique, they might be strong, but what if they have like a really terrible family, you know? So it's like, stop caring about other things is most normally to think. So the key point here is that when you want to stop caring about what other things, it is actually just to stop not being grateful for what you already have. Being grateful for what you already have is one of the greatest and most important things you've ever had. Okay, you have any points to add on for this?
I mean, like it's mainly what you said. I just like to add a quote that my dad often said to me in Sec 1 and Sec 2 when I was still, you know, like being Sec 1, Sec 2 me. He always used to say, what other people say, what other people do, that's on them. You can't control them. So there's no point getting angry over it. What you should get angry over, if you should get angry, is at yourself. Why did I not do better? How can I try and improve? This is the sort of mindset you want to have, instead of, oh, that person is so great, oh, that person looks so nice. You should be thinking, how do I make myself as great as that person? How do I look as good as him or her? That's the type of thing. You don't want to work on comparison. You want to work on
yourself.
Yeah, getting yourself to their level.
Yourself for sure, 100%. And I mean, school really is not that difficult. It's basically, after all, just coming down to making friends, and you have to be less passive. Is that the correct word? Like less being annoying. Just stop texting so many people. Stop. You know, you want to build a persona that you're not that easily accessible, and like you want to observe what popular people in your school are doing. For example, in our school, could be basketball, could be like, could be just, you know, going on stage, getting recognized for things.
Yeah, mostly sports or like physical talents involved.
Yeah. So like, you just want to work on these skills, be good at any one of these skills. And yeah, so basically to enjoy school more and make more friends is very, very simple. Just work on yourself until you are really, really good, like the best in your school for one area. Can be studies. Okay, let me list you out a few basic things. Can be studies, can be working out, can be calisthenics, can be chess, can be video games, can be basically anything you think about. And then can even be like, for example, me, like start off arm wrestling. No one really care about who is the strongest guy in school was. But then slowly, as I try arm wrestling, influencing more people and posting it on social media. Okay, I won't really suggest your people to post on social media just yet, because it's kind of easy to get hated, and once you get hated, it's kind of hard to reverse it back. Even for myself, I consider myself lucky that I didn't get hated lah. So I won't not really suggest you all to start social media. So yeah, to just get good at one thing and get recognized in school for it. And yeah, you could build a strong Instagram presence of like a private account. Like, don't be shameful of requesting people for like the first few days. But once you've done requesting a lot of people, you kind of need to stop requesting for like, let's say you got 400 followers. Just don't need to request anymore. Just let other people request you. So yeah, to improve yourself, get close friend groups, and basically not care about what other things is basically your go-to gateway to get better school life experience.
Yeah.
Alright, can I see what other points we should discuss about? Can add on. Okay, so summary of this podcast is that you're not alone, and being excluded in school or being hated in school doesn't define your whole story. And you know, yourself, how other people treat you is not a reflection of yourself. Okay, the changeable variables are how you treat yourself, what you think, and how you change yourself. 3 things of this whole podcast. This is a short podcast episode, but basically 3 things, and that's all you need. There's not much point going more in depth about things. So yeah, anything to add on?
Just keep your mind like open to any suggestions that people may give for you. Like if you feel like you're getting hated on, you could like try asking like your close friends, because like they're your close friends. They're there because like if you need help, you can rely on them.
Yeah, and definitely lower your ego. Don't think that what other people say is just wrong. Always think you're right. I mean, this can be especially hard if you're like more popular, but you gotta understand that what people say, go and really reflect on yourself. It might be bullshit lah sometimes. To be honest, a lot of times it's bullshit, but what if 1 or 2 times that's correct? It can be life changing. Yeah. So I think that's all for this podcast. And yeah, episode 2 done. Thanks for coming up.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, amazing.